Hello everyone, it's Old Guardian here. In this video I want to talk a little bit about the state of PvP in Hearthstone Mercenaries. I often get questions about, hey, why don't you play PvP or would you play some PvP? And I haven't played any Hearthstone Mercenaries PvP for a while now. And the reason why I quit Hearthstone Mercenaries PvP, actually I quit playing Hearthstone Mercenaries PvP when Valera Sanguinar was released. Because at that point there were two main gameplay reasons for me to quit playing PvP. One of them is that there's so much grinding, there's so much work on maxing your mercenaries, getting your mercenaries into playable shape for PvP. Now I can hear tens of PvP players, or maybe both of the PvP players remaining, say that you don't actually need maxed mercs for PvP. Yeah, there is some truth to that. You don't need maxed mercs for PvP, but they are an advantage. Back when I was playing PvP, and when I had maxed mercs, when I didn't have maxed mercs, there were many games where that 5 health actually made the difference. Games where I had the 5 health, and my mercenaries survived at 4 or 2 health, and I won. Games where I didn't have maxed mercenaries, and I died by 1 or 2 points, and I could have survived, and I could have won. And yeah, you don't need them, but they do make a difference, a clear difference. And another thing is that just the way, well, Valera release was really, that was the point for me. New overpowered mercenaries are being released. That's kind of the way they want PvP to progress. They just release new mercenaries that are just better, and then if you want to keep playing PvP, it's race. Can you max your mercenary? How fast can you max your mercenary? Well, you can do all the tasks for your mercenary. Now it's easier than it was back when Valera was released, so some of this barrier has been lowered because now you can just get Valera's task chain, you get all 18 tasks done, and you would be able to get somewhat playable mercenary out of that. But then if you want to max it from there, then it's a lot of heroic 1-1 grinding, and I don't enjoy that. I refuse to participate in that aspect of the game. So I didn't quite fulfill the requirements to even participate on an even footing in Mercenaries PvP, and that's why I stopped doing it. I did have a second reason as well, which is not related to PvP on how fun it is. It's more like related to, okay, well, I'm doing this for a living, so the content has to be something that people want to watch. And then the content. So when I made content about PvP, I got tons of complaints. No matter what I do, well, I get tons of complaints doing no matter what with mercenaries. The audience is quite brutal. But anyway, with PvP, it's even worse, because I get complaints that, hey, you have these maxed mercs, I cannot play with these comps because your mercs are maxed. Or I get complaints, your mercs are not maxed. I was wondering, okay, but this is just like, no, this is useless to me. All of this information is useless to me because my mercs are maxed and the breakpoints are different. Yeah, so no matter, you just can't win. Either your mercs are maxed and people complain, or your mercs are not maxed and people complain. And once you max your mercs, you can't unmax them. So PvP content for mercenaries can just never satisfy the majority of viewers. No matter what you do, there's always going to be lots of viewers who are unsatisfied because your mercs are not in the same position as their mercs. And of course this also affects the PvE side of the game to an extent. Yeah, I have seen your complaints. But to a lesser extent, because typically on PvE side you get like some level 3 abilities and stuff, and the merc will do good enough. In most cases it will do good enough, but not so in PvP. And all of this, of course, is combined with interest in PvP content overall. Because of the huge barrier to entry, there are very few people playing Mercenaries PvP, so there's not a lot of people who would watch stuff about that, and that kind of makes it unviable. So that's actually a ton of reasons already not to play Mercenaries PvP. Some of them related to things that everyone who plays the game can relate to, okay, the grind, all that stuff, and some of it related to stuff that's specific to content creation. And while it was not a factor to why I stopped playing PvP in the first place, at this point we can also talk about game balancing. It's been 1.5 months since we last got a balance patch for Hearthstone Mercenaries. Yes, 1.5 months. That's a very long time. And currently the PvP scene, I do follow the PvP scene. It's not like I don't care. I do care, I just refuse to participate in it. You're either in Team Frost or you're in Team Trigor. Or maybe you're in both. You can also play that kind of comps. So I don't think the PvP meta is very interesting. And I have asked Blizzard, are you going to make some Trigo nerfs, please? But I'm not getting much of a response to that anyway. But yeah, so balance changes, they are few and far between. And I can totally see that, because as a PvE focused game, Mercenaries, like, you make a balance change. Even the balance change to Warden Dawngrass changed a whole bunch of bounties when you would really look back at it. Okay, hey, this comp actually isn't working anymore, or then hey, this boss had actually had that Warden ability, and now that ability is changed, and now you have to do things differently in this boss fight. So yeah, balancing Mercenaries is tricky. The balancing method they have chosen, probably also because of all this, how it changes the encounters, how it changes the PvE side, is that they just make new mercenaries that are really, really good. And that results in the grind problem, and then it also means that balance changes are few and far between, so there's a whole plethora of issues here. I don't think those issues could not be overcome. I think Hearthstone Mercenaries PvP could be saved, but I don't think Blizzard will do that. Because the solution would have to consist of two parts. One part, active balancing. Well, they would have to actually watch the balance of the game, and be proactive about it. At least as active as they are about standard, if not more. But hey, we have seen the balancing stance to these lesser modes like Arena and Wild and Mercenaries. So I don't think they will dedicate the resources to do that. And another thing is that the barrier to entry to PvP, and also the fact that different PvP teams, they work differently when your mercenaries are at different stages of their development. So we would desperately need some kind of normalization of the mercenaries' abilities for PvP. So that in PvP the mercenaries would act differently, probably, than in PvE to an extent. They would be normalized to some specific level. In PvE they could be stronger. Maybe they could be max strength at PvP. There's various alternatives. But anyway, the overall normalization of the mercenaries' power level between players, so that players whose mercenaries are less developed than others, they would still be even in PvP. That would be really, really needed, because I don't see, with the barrier to entry to PvP right now in Mercenaries, I don't see that mode ever being a success. The PvP side of it, I mean. PvE side could still be a success. Not every game is a PvP game, but for Mercenaries to be also a PvP game, they would need to put some effort into that. And I don't see Blizzard doing that work for the PvP side of this game mode, and that's why I'm not having fun with it, and I just refuse to participate in that for the time being. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the content, please click the like button, subscribe to my channel, and check out my Twitch channel.